everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Urban Native Era podcast. This is Hud Oberly, aka Huddleberry Finn. I'm creative director of Urban Native Era, where we specialize in clothing design and content to increase the visibility of Indigenous peoples. I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, sunny Los Angeles, California. This is episode 2. We're coming to you live with these podcasts every Tuesday on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and on YouTube. We got YouTube here with us. We have social medias just for this podcast at UNE Podcast. So please subscribe, follow us on all those things, and please share with your friends, your family. Let us know where you're listening from in the YouTube world. Comment where you're listening from, and then also share it to your Instagram story. We'd really appreciate that. We want this podcast to reach so many people, and we're gonna have a great format, but during quarantine season, and then after quarantine season, we're gonna have guests. So it's just go up and up and up. So we're excited. Happy Mother's Day. I hope it was a great Mother's Day for all of you this past Sunday. Hopefully got to spend time with them, but if not, we know it's kind of a crazy time right now. So if you had to just send a card, you got to give a call, got to send a text at least. I hope it was a good day. All you mothers, I hope you had a good day. Today, we're talking about opportunity. Feels good. And it's interesting opportunity in this quarantine season time. But let me back up and acknowledge the crazy time it is. We got people in our circles, in our quarantine crew, in our communities, in our groups. You got all different kind of players in there. You got the people that are, giving out the stats of all the confirmed cases in your state, in your tribe, in the country, in the other countries. You got the people that are kind of giving the comedic relief, which is great. We all need that kind of relief, kind of step away, be able to, look at the situation in a different point of view. It feels good to look at it that way. But then you also have those workhorses. Got those workhorses. My roommate here, he wakes up at 2 a.m. every day to kind of start working. He has his own routine. He's a workhorse. We've both been working really hard, which we'll talk about the opportunity that we're trying to stab at. But you also have those people working away in the background. They're chipping away each day. They're not putting it on social media. They're not being so external about it, but they're chipping away. They're perfecting their craft. They're looking up, they're researching stuff. And that's kind of who I want to target and shine a light on. Doesn't mean that that's you yet, or doesn't mean that you have to do that. Definitely don't. You don't have to do that. So the quarantine season can be looked at as an opportunity, but you get to choose what that opportunity is. And that person that's chipping away in the background doesn't, like I said, they're not throwing it on social media. They're in the background. They're doing it, and you can do what you want. And it can be baby steps. Baby steps are still steps to whatever you want to do, whatever. It doesn't have to be your lifelong dream. It can just be baby steps to having a cleaner home while you're at home all this time. You have all this spare time. You're in your home all the time, every hour of the day almost. Hopefully you're following the stay-at-home orders. I know some of it's being lifted now, but hopefully you're staying safe and, following all the orders wherever you are, whatever they may be, in that location. But if you do have a little, a little passion of, a little project, just a little fun project, a little hobby, you can be chipping away at that, especially in this quarantine season. You don't have an hour commute anymore. You don't have the 30-minute commute anymore. So you have time to maybe do a little research, maybe check out some people on Instagram that are doing that thing that you want to be able to do. I just want to provide some context to how you can use this time wisely. And using that time wisely doesn't mean you have to be striving to do this big thing. It can be personal growth. It can be doing 10 push-ups in the morning, something simple. I'm not trying to say like you have to write that new book, because there's all those, see those memes like this is the time to write a new book, or start that new passion project, or all that stuff, which is cool. You can do that, but you don't have to look at it so long-term by the end of quarantine have this bestseller or anything. I don't know who really thought that they're writing this bestseller, especially if you haven't written a book before, but you can take a step in your writing skills or learn about the industry. Like what's the step to getting a publisher, getting a whatever it is, if you're a book person. For me, I'm learning. I'm new to the job. I'm only a little over a month into working at Urbanated Vera, and it's stuff that I haven't dealt with before. I have a marketing background, but the clothing design, the learning about the clothing in the industry, like the middleman you have to go through, I don't know a whole lot about that. But, now I'm using that hour, maybe 2 hours before bed to learn about that stuff and maybe do some research, kind of, scribble on some papers about some ideas for some shirt design, some hoodie design, stuff like that. So that's where you can apply that extra time. You can just, it's a little bit of time to get better. And like I said, I'm not trying to, everyone has work still. Some people work from home, the 9 to 5, still have those hours of work. It's not like, some of these people, like you don't have a 35-hour day now just because it's the quarantine. You still have to work. You still have a job, hopefully. But there's, like I said, that commute. You don't have that commute. You have some time before bed. You have some time before that first Zoom call. You got an hour, 30 minutes. You can do some research, check stuff out, do all that. Just the little work. Like I said, the baby steps. It's kind of like it's a groundwork time. It doesn't have to be accomplished this by the end of the quarantine. It's a groundwork. Baby steps are still steps. And so I have a clip of my Ika, which in my tribe, or our language, that's what means grandma. So my Ika, she gave a prolific monologue in one of my personal vlogs one time. I want to share it with you because I think, I'm just a guy here, just second episode of his podcast. But my Ika, I'm 25. She's a little bit north of 25, but she has some more experience than me. And she said, you have to dream a little bit and you have to be practical too. There's a lot of competition I'm assuming a lot of competition, whatever it is you want to do, whatever you're kind of even just thinking about in the back of your head. There's a lot of people in this world that are, doing certain things. They're striving for it, and you don't need to compare yourself to them, but you need to prepare yourself for when there's an opportunity that you can, step up to the plate and really pounce on the idea. And that's what my Ika said. She said, there has to be something special about you, and it doesn't have to be that natural born talent. And I'm just throwing out stuff. I don't know what your thing is, but it doesn't have to be natural born talent. It can be that you're special. What's special about you is you can work hard, or you can find those little minutes or those hours in your day where you can, kind of take those baby steps, step forward, chip away at whatever it is. And so, like I said, I don't think it's healthy or realistic for most to have like an end of quarantine accomplishment, because that's tough to hold yourself to, especially in these times when, and I don't want to assume that, everyone has these free days without thoughts of worry or anxiety, because we all have that. And like, we're all thinking about like, what's going on? Is this going to end? When is it going to end? I think you want to have a realistic goal, or just take realistic steps. There doesn't have to be a goal. It can just be relaxed. I don't want there to be any pressure whenever I say this stuff to like do whatever it is that you may be thinking about. So, I have that great piece from my Ika, and it's just preparing yourself for what could become something, and you have to be prepared. So, I don't want to talk too much about myself, but I'm just thinking about joining Urbanated Vera. Like some of the people may know the story. Me and Joey kind of knew each other, but there was things already in motion that I would say I was doing to, I guess, show to whoever it was that I knew marketing, I knew kind of social media stuff, but I didn't know who that was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be an indigenous brand. It may have been like a marketing agency, something like that, but I was trying to stay prepared, keeping up with everything, creating, not just like staying stagnant. I was trying to stay busy with my extra time outside of my current 10 to 6 job that I had. I was trying to stay up to date and, use all that time wisely. Not much Netflix in there, I'll tell you that. Not a big series guy, but like I said, I'm you know, I want to give this perspective like, hey, this guy, HUD, is 25. Like, what does he know? But what I can share is the amount of work that I can feel that me and Joey are putting in during this quarantine season. Like, I just started right before the quarantine season, but it's been early mornings for both of us, more so Joey, and then late nights for me. I like to work at night. So, I have that perspective from just this, month, couple months, month and a half, whatever it is, that I know that there can be a lot of hard work put into it. And, we're just two dudes living in LA. We don't have kids, or, we don't have a whole lot of responsibility in our lives right now. And I know that other people do, but there's certain times where you can even just think about it. The more you're thinking about it, I think the more it helps you materialize what your actual plan is for this opportunity during quarantine. So I just want to give that little piece of advice. And now I have a little segment I want to throw in. So we talked about the opportunity. We're kind of serious inside of the quarantine, giving you all that stuff, giving you all that good stuff. But I want to give you a little, I want to separate and be that maybe that person that's can have a relief from this pandemic and all this stuff. These big words, these like pop words that we kind of get tired of seeing on our timeline or on the news or in our friends groups, in our families, in our group texts with our families, whatever it may be. I want to give y'all a no perspective. We see those people on the news that don't really have a perspective, that are maybe protesting for the wrong reasons. But I want to give one of those perspectives. I don't know if people on YouTube can see. If you can't see, you're driving in the car listening to the podcast, maybe check it out once you get out of the car. But I don't know if you can see, but I haven't had a haircut in a couple months, even before the quarantine. I think it was, I don't even know how long, but I have more just for this, just for YouTube, just for you guys. I am loading up my hair with hair product. I have more hair product in here than Pauly D. And if you don't know who that is, I got more hair product in here than the whole cast of The Godfather. If you're outside of the Pauly D era. But I'm having some issues with it. But when you think I'm going to let Joey Shaky Hands Montoya cut my hair, there's value that I hold in this mane right here, this lettuce up here. So I got to be careful. Right, I need the quarantine to end for this haircut. I need to shape this stuff up. I don't know if you can see it. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. But I'm getting mullet action back here. But we need to open up for the haircuts. We need to get those going. But I'll throw in some perspective. I'm gonna come out of the quarantine with a new haircut. I'm going to come out of here with a new haircut. There's a silver lining there. There's a silver lining to the barbershops not being open. And I'm for it. We don't cancel that. We don't need to open up everything. We don't need to do that. We need to open up for the right reasons when it's safe and healthy. But I'm chill. I can handle this for a little bit. But we need to have that silver lining in there. We know we got to be safe and healthy for everyone. There's a silver lining in everything. And just like with the opportunity stuff, it's about being positive to yourself, positive how you talk to yourself about what's realistic to you, what you want to do. Now, not just what you want to do, today or by the end of the year, but what do you want to do later on? It's about being positive and understanding that excluding certain cases and individual situations, you do control your own happiness on like the day-to-day level. And so I feel like I sound really preachy right now. I don't mean for this to be a motivational podcast, but I want you guys as our listeners to look at things positively. And I know so many people are, and I appreciate that, because I think there's a lot of clout. I'll just say it out blunt. There's a lot of clout in the non-positivity. I don't know if the positivity gets enough clout, and I don't know if the positivity gets enough attention, but that's what I can offer as a perspective. And like I said, I can only offer the opportunity discussion as far as probably the quarantine. I'm a young kid. I'm 25. I don't think I know everything. I think that's where you take my ECOS advice. North of 25, she's been around a little bit, but she has great advice. Or look to your family, look to the people you look up to for their advice on this stuff. But keep the positivity. And I think that's as much of the message as this is an opportunity, a time that you can take advantage of the time that you do have, whether stay-at-home orders are being lifted soon. There's still going to be some restrictions to going to different places. I don't think the nightlife going to really pop off for a while. You're going to have those Friday, Saturday nights. Hopefully you're staying safe and you don't gather where you're not, you don't need to, but there's time. There's also positivity to all this. And there's positivity to what you're trying to attack, what you're trying to tackle, what you're trying to chip away at. Back to that person in the background chipping away. You don't have to put it out there and all that stuff, but you're chipping away at something and you're having a good time doing it. You're being positive. So boom. That's honestly, that was fast, but I think that's what I got. That's what I got. This is the second episode of the Urban Native Era podcast. We're trying to figure it out. We have guests eventually. We got some big time guests in mind. We obviously haven't reached out and confirmed anyone, but we have big guests in mind, and we're excited about it. We're excited to bring you guys value, whether that's me yelling at this microphone about opportunity and positivity, or whether it's bringing value on your entertainment or eventually with those guests. So let me know what topics you're trying to hear about in the comments. Send us a message on UNE Podcast. I want you guys to just let me know what you're thinking. To the UNE Podcast, that's all me. I'm running it right now. Joey I haven't given him the passwords yet. It's new. He doesn't know yet. But I want y'all to reach out to me. Message me through the @UNE Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that good stuff. Reach out. I want to hear from y'all. I want to engage with y'all. This isn't my baby, but I'm really excited about this podcast. So I'm there. Let me know where y'all listening from. Share it to your Instagram story. Let me make sure I got all my notes here. That's it, folks. I hope you guys stick with us. We're dropping a podcast every Tuesday, every morning, every Tuesday. It's going to be ready. It's going to be ready by the morning of Tuesday. So whether you're getting up in the morning and you're brushing your teeth, whatever it is, you're walking the dog, if you have to go, do stuff outside, maybe have a little sip of coffee in the morning, I'm here for y'all on Tuesdays, anytime after that for a new episode. Or you're listening to me before bed. Maybe you get motivated. Hope I didn't motivate you and keep you up. But thank you guys for listening. We'll be here next Tuesday. I want to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. I want to wish a happy Mother's Day to my mom and my ECA. I hope you guys have a good week, had a good weekend, and have a good rest of your week. We'll see you next week.